So good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, actually. My name is Christian Karasevich. I'm the founder of Social Chefs, and I've got my buddy, Mr. Vincent Orlick, over here.
Woo-hoo.
And we're doing our weekly episode of Social Chatter. And if you want to, during the show, if you want to ask us any questions, you can either put them in the chat window over here on the side. You can also send us a tweet. So I'll give you all a couple of links for these.
You have 100 props, Christian.
Well, that is awesome, actually. Thank you so much. So here's my Twitter handle. I'm going to put, let's see, we got the Social Chefs one as well. We also have Vincent and the hashtag Social Chatter. So if you put any of those in there, if you tweet us or use the hashtag, we will, we'll make sure to try to answer your questions if you don't want to put them on Blab. So, and remember, when you put questions into Blab, I mean, they're great for Blab, but if you put them on Twitter, you're going to have the opportunity to, reach a broader audience, not just your followers, but also everyone else who's searching on those particular topics. So, I want to say, I'm glad it's Friday. Really am. It has been a really long week, but lots of really exciting things happening this week. I mean, you and I talked a little bit about that and probably share some of that here on this week's show, but I mean, it's been a good week, and I mean, that's the thing. Like, here's the thing: if you're really tired at the end of the week, I mean, you may have a few days where things don't exactly go as smoothly as they should, but you also have to remember, sometimes those things are going to teach us. They're going to help us get stronger, so that next week and the week after, when we can build on that momentum, that we're generating every single time that we're doing things. So. I want to say, we got a lot of good things to talk about today, and I don't want to waste anyone's time with that. So you want to get down to it?
Yes.
Okay. So topic number one. And so for those of you who are new, we basically, what we do is we have 3 to 5 topics, 3 to 5 tools, and we talk about them, how they can impact your business or you as a marketer. And obviously, we also should talk about, events and things like that we've either got going on or, things that are upcoming. So topic number 1 is actually Facebook Canvas ads, Facebook Canvas. And this is actually something that Vincent and I talked about a couple of weeks ago, actually. We talked about it was a way to create basically these immersive pieces of content. And I'm actually glad Facebook's really getting into this whole interactive thing, because I mean, these are really awesome. They were something that when they came out, nobody kind of really knew how they would work. But basically, you can create these environments that basically tell people about your business. They tell stories about your business and help you showcase your products. So it's basically a visual way to talk about your brand. Have you had a chance to try these out, Vincent?
I have no access to them, but I've seen them. Oh, there's an echo. I can hear myself coming through. Okay, no, that's good. Whatever you just did. Yeah, I mean, like we kind of discussed briefly before, anything that's going to help a brand, when they're spending their money to augment what they're trying to say and be more engaging. I mean, we'll see how these work. It seems like it's a cool idea. Have you seen any brands using them, or have you heard of any brands using them to this point?
I've only seen the major ones. So we had, like Wendy's was using it. And then, we talked about how like they really work well with certain types of brands. So like, for example, if I'm Carnival Cruise or I'm like BMW or one of these major brands, I mean, they give, they're really great for that. I haven't seen too many other people using them. But I have to say, I mean, it's definitely something you want to keep on your radar as a business owner, because, they're going to give you a way to help your business stand out a lot more. If you really think about it, I mean, right now, if you just go to your Facebook page and, you post a photo or, you post a video, which, that makes things look a little bit better. People are really looking for more wow factor, I think, when you share content. And I think Facebook Canvas is really going to help you do that. We're using mobile devices these days, and you can create a lot of really neat things using a lot of free apps. And so this, I think, is another play for Facebook to really, to keep you on their site.
How about cost wise? I didn't see anything about it. It doesn't cost anymore, right? Or does it?
I don't think they actually cost anything actually.
Doesn't. I mean, as far as except for running.
Right. You basically run them through Power Editor.
Yeah.
And
right. So it's just the ability, instead of running like a video or an image like you normally would, there's this other option where you can do more.
Right.
That's always good when doesn't cost anymore.
I mean, it really comes down to, again, it's still going to come down to targeting and all that sort of stuff. You do have to, you can apply for it through your Facebook page. So
yeah, I'm on the wait list.
Yeah, I signed up for it a while ago, but I haven't gotten notified that I've actually received them or not. But I'm going to probably spend a little time over the weekend, try to see if I can create a few if I have them. So that's Facebook Canvas. That was, it was rolled out very late last week, but I think it's something that, as a business owner, you definitely want to keep it on the radar. So while you're waiting for Facebook Canvas to kind of roll out, to either get on the wait list or, for it to show up in your account, the next thing I want to talk about is another tool. And it's sort of like, these are topics, tools, whatever. But this tool is actually your business story. It's another Facebook tool, actually. I had a chance to play with this. It's kind of fun. What it is in a nutshell, basically, is you can create a video using your content from your Facebook page. And this is going to let you as a business tell your story, tell people what it is that you do exactly. And it's pretty neat. Basically go through the process. It doesn't take very long. You select your Facebook page, you select some of the content that you want to create, for example, 8 photos, and then you tell them what your story is, and you can add music, and you basically have a nice little video. So that is basically what your business story is. Nothing more to it than that. Have you had a chance to actually check this out, Vincent?
I did. I mean, it rolls. It's one of those things that it will prompt you to use it automatically when they come up in your feed. And so I just. Wait, you missed it. Hold on. Ready?
Oh, look at that. Very nice. That's awesome. That's cool. I like that. So I got to say, they sort of remind me of, you're basically creating little mini ads about your business.
It's super quick. Like, you just go through the thing that takes the most time is picking the 8 images, because you can pick from your different albums or listings, your profile photo, whatever. And, it's just kind of what you want to accomplish with it. It's a nice little feature. Lets you make a video for your business. And if you have multiple pages, you can select between the pages. You can make a video for every page, not for your personal profile, but for any business pages that you admin. You can create a different video for each one using the photos that are in that one. Then you pick the music. There's only like 4 choices for the music. But yeah, it's super quick. It's a fun little thing. I've seen some people using them and seen their videos, and it's engaging. It's fun.
And I have to say, so this feature reminds me of all of those other little features, Facebook rolls out for users, for profiles from time to time. They roll out things like, I think it was, it was like year in review. And then they've done some other ones where, can't quite remember all the names offhand, but they've done, basically they give you a tool where they were basically crafting a video for you, your year in review or something. And then this is now something that's making its way to pages. And I think it's actually really good they're doing this. They're giving pages, it seems like a very simple tool, which is great. But if I'm a business, I mean, it's so easy, and it's great for marketing for Facebook, obviously. But if I'm a business, I want to be creating something like this, because if I don't create this type of content to begin with, and all people, kind of going back to what we talked about earlier, if people just post, text updates and photos to their Facebook page, and they're like, hey, I don't get much engagement and whatnot, this is, something that they want to make sure they add to it. So, it's going to give people, like, what is that? How long is that video, by the way?
15 seconds.
Couple seconds, right? So basically, it's a very, very short video, and you're basically able to tell people what your business is about, almost like your elevator pitch in a way. So I would recommend, again, take the time to actually set that one up. That one is actually super easy to do. All you have to do is go to your business story.fb.com. I have the EN on the end of mine, but I did notice if you did share that through social channels, you were getting I was getting the German version or something, or it was kind of strange. But try that link. It basically will redirect you to the page you need to go to, and it's very straightforward. It doesn't take more than a couple minutes. Yeah, and absolutely, that's a great point. Got to get your name here, actually. Randy, actually, sorry. Blab wasn't pulling that up. I did want to, I want to definitely mention, what you just said. You want to make sure you have really good content on your Facebook page. So if you go to create a video and you don't have a lot of, if your photos are really low resolution, things like that, you've got, they don't look very good. Take the time to actually retake the photo and upload it back to your Facebook page as a high resolution photo. I mean, smartphones, these things take excellent photos. So, if you're having a hard time, getting good photos, use your smartphone. You've got you likely have the tools available. So take a good photo and upload it back to your page and create an awesome video. Because remember, that video is going to be probably one of the first things that people are going to see when they go to your Facebook page. So make sure, you do that.
Yep.
So, by the way, I did want to backtrack real quick to topic number 1 we talked about. So we talked about Facebook Canvas, and I wanted to actually mention real quick, if you are going to create Facebook Canvas or you're going to sign up for it, Facebook Canvas actually has 2 ways that you can go about creating them. One is if you want to actually create Facebook Canvas through your Facebook page's publishing tools, so there's a little button at the top that says publishing tools. You have to apply to do that. And then Facebook will, at that point, give you the opportunity to, if they accept you, to do that. If you don't want to wait, though, you can publish Canvas through Power Editor. So you have 2 options there. So keep that in mind. So with that, I'm going to keep rolling here, unless you got something else you want to bring up. Anything you want to talk about for right now?
No, let's keep going.
Okay, so topic number 3. And again, we're very Facebook heavy today, but that's also because I think it was a really big week for Facebook. And so this one's actually going to talk about Facebook Live video ranking. So,
and this one too is funny because I used Facebook Live today for a little while.
So you want to tell people what is Facebook Live? Let's talk about that, and then talk about
Facebook Live is. Facebook Live is Facebook's version of live streaming video within the platform. It's basically Periscope within Facebook, if you will. That's how a lot of people kind of refer to it. But you when you go to make a post, and not everybody actually has it quite yet. Most people do, I think. When you go to make a post, the option appears to post a photo or a video, check in, all that, or to create a live video, go live. When you do that, you create a headline, and then it'll send out a notification to your followers that, to your friends, whoever has notifications turned on, that you just went live, or that you went live in the past, and you're broadcasting live from your phone. It's available only on mobile. And so today I was at an event talking about what Gary Vaynerchuk was presenting. Really cool. I was about 10 feet away, so I had a really good shot. And I was on for about 8 minutes or so. The update that we're talking about today is the fact that Facebook is giving higher priority to live video, specifically Facebook Live video.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
In the news feed. Personally, I didn't really see that. I didn't experience that. There was about, by the time I was going off the air, it was like 20 or so people. It started, it was 5, 6 people, wavered, went down, went back up a little bit, but it wasn't like all of a sudden I had 100 people jumping on.
Right.
Obviously the content makes a difference. But certainly just because they're announcing that live video will get higher priority in a feed,
sure,
doesn't mean that you're gonna have every single person jumping on your live stream.
Right. Absolutely. So, I mean, so let's talk about this. What are your thoughts on just the whole fact that Facebook's starting to put, a lot more importance on people using their tools? Granted, I mean, you didn't see the bump that you probably were kind of thinking you were going to get from that, but people uploading native video, using
Mhm.
Facebook Notes, using, in this case, Facebook Live video. I know a lot of people don't have this yet, but what are your thoughts on that? I mean,
It makes sense. It goes along with everything that they've always preached, that they want to keep you on Facebook, on the platform. They don't want you to leave for anything. So they're trying to bring blogging, live streaming, everything into your Facebook feed on your phone. So as far as it being available for brands yet, I've seen people that are verified on their business page use it, and it wasn't through the Mentions app.
Okay.
It was through the regular Facebook profile thing on the phone. So yeah, and Herbivorous, that they Facebook Live at the grand opening, yes. So I'm a big fan, a big proponent of using, whether it's Periscope, even throw Meerkat in there. Even, I don't know how much longer it's got, but Facebook Live and Periscope. Big fan of using the live streaming platforms for events. Right. Absolutely. Blab, a little different. It's more of a conversational thing, not so much a broadcasting thing necessarily for an event.
Right. You kind of have to use your social.
Well, yeah, the app for Blab isn't as good. I mean, there's that whole thing, but Facebook keeping you using their tools, I'm sure, is a huge priority. And don't forget too, speaking of Meerkat, so Meerkat, it was roughly a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, that Meerkat popped on the scene and changed the live streaming game for the following year up until now. Periscope came out a month or so later. Right. But Meerkat was like on the scene at South by Southwest. People were using it. And then Facebook Live came out, a couple months ago, really for everybody. Before that was Facebook, the Mentions app, gave people, the celebrities, the ability to go live.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But so it's only been a year. I know that there's been things around. There's been Hangouts. There's been even, things like Spreecast and Ustream and all that beforehand. Right. But that's like the comparing the industrial age to the technology age in American history, because people use those to a point, but this was the big missing factor. Right. Now we have this, and everything's on this, whether you like it or not. People are on mobile more often than not. So now that we have these apps that are mobile, live streaming, available, that's where the game is. And the older ones, great. They existed before, people use them, great. The new ones they're still constantly evolving and changing too. So we're in the infancy again. We're back into this infancy of this industry of the live streaming. And for Facebook, where I was going with that was Facebook was the one, after Meerkat got kind of Heismaned by Twitter, Facebook was the one that jumped in and was like, hey, Meerkat, come here, here, just come over here, pat you on the head, and we'll let you, when someone goes live, they can share it to their Facebook page. That was the first time, nothing else was doing something like that yet. Yes, Periscope, you could tweet it out, right? But that was native to it. Twitter owns Periscope anyway. Sure. So with this, it was Facebook was like Meerkat. And as soon as they did that, it felt like Facebook was about to get into the whole live streaming thing. And that's what we all kind of thought. We were like, well, once Facebook gets into the live streaming side of it, that's going to change everything. To this point, it really hasn't. Right. It hasn't. Periscope is still doing its thing. There's still a community there. It's still got its usage. Facebook Live, there was almost more backlash than anything. But some people use it. I use it today. I don't see a lot of people using it. Right. I don't know if that's because they're not putting it out to everyone they know and they're just putting it out to certain groups. But really, it hasn't been that intrusive thing that everybody was so worried about when Facebook finally offers live streaming, that your whole feed would be full of live videos annoying everybody. I don't know. I haven't seen that be the case at all. I don't know about you, Christian, but
I haven't seen it very much, but I would say that I still think it comes down to, I don't think it's part of people's strategy.
right.
And I say that for like, there's, it doesn't matter like what, if it's Periscope, if it's Meerkat, if it's Blab, if it's, if it's any of these tools.
Well, and I'm even just talking about people,
Right.
personal,
Right.
not brands or strategy or anything. Just I'm not even seeing my friends really use Facebook Live, other than some of the ones that are marketing.
Well, and so kind of what I mean by that is that it doesn't matter. Like if I'm like, just on my profile looking to do this, most people I don't think are comfortable with that. Like they're completely just not, it's like, okay, it's really awesome. It seems like it's got a lot of, it seems like it has some, that it will have like really good purpose, to it. But I don't think people really kind of, when they go to Facebook, like they're thinking basics. Let me publish a photo. Let me share a video. They're not thinking, oh, hey, let me do a live stream right now. People are probably thinking, well, hey, I just got out of bed. I'm in my pajamas. They're thinking that kind of stuff probably.
Yep.
So it's not actually, I don't think it's actually something that is really playing a part in, their daily lives, which is unfortunate. I mean, I think, it is going to take some time for people to get more comfortable with these tools.
It could, though. I mean, that specifically, the fact that you can't, I mean, Periscope's the same way. You can send a stream just to one person.
Right.
Or a couple of people. I mean, you have that option. And, maybe people are doing that. I mean, I think it's probably more the case. Like, they don't have, like, the wherewithal to think of, it's not top of mind, right. Number one. Mm-hmm. It's also not like you said, like, maybe they just don't want to be on camera.
And even though the button is there, to pick from, but like, maybe they're just thinking the basics, or maybe it's the fact that people just aren't. I mean, who knows? It could be something as simple as, "Hey, I don't have a lot of data on my phone, and I'm out and about."
Right. That's a huge part of it with the Wi-Fi access. Yeah, I mean, I think that the live streaming kills your data if you don't have Wi-Fi and your battery. Mm-hmm. My phone, I have a 6S Plus. Yeah, and my phone, I Periscope or live stream anything, like it starts to get hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Relatively quickly. Today it wasn't too bad. I did about 8 minutes and it was just starting to get a little warm, but it kind of varies. It's funny, like even a brand new phone, latest model, it's still, the live streaming is still making it get hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, I would say that, I think that those could be some of the things. I think part of it could be that, people just they're not really attuned to it. Right. I think now my question I was actually going to ask you and every single person that's watching this. So we know this tool, Facebook Live, like live video. We know that has not quite rolled out yet. Like everybody's not really up.
Almost, but not yet.
But what I wanted to ask is more of this question. So Facebook is, everybody says, well, hey, I got to be on these different social networks, right? Facebook, though, is, if you look at it, they're quietly building all these little pieces in to keep you literally on Facebook all the time. They're putting in, they're making things better for pages so that your main priority is on Facebook. They're using the live video feature. They're creating these, promotional video tools to let you easily create content. And if you look at all the other social networks, they aren't letting you do that. You've got to deal with like third-party tools, which in some cases don't really work that well. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, do you think Facebook at some point will become like the dominant player? I mean, they're already dominant, but do you think that they will become the only place you really go?
I don't think they'll ever be the only place, but that's certainly their goal. That's been their goal since, I don't know if it's since the start, but certainly for the last several years. I mean, they want to be, I mean, it goes back to the graph, the graph search, like it probably farther back than that, but I mean, you can trace it even just starting at the graph search a few years back, where they don't want you to go to Google.
Right.
they want you to use the graph search bar in Facebook, even though it wasn't really ready for that at that point. Even though they had so much data, it still wasn't ready. It wasn't Google like. You wouldn't go to Facebook search to Google certain things, although Facebook wants you to do that. They still want you to do that ideally, but it's just, and I don't think that mentality will ever change. Like you're still going to use Google.
Yep.
For searching.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna use, look at even Bing, like another search engine. That's basically what Facebook was trying to do. The only search engine, if you want to call it that, or two that have made headway are YouTube and Pinterest. those are the search engines that are like Google in a sense, but for different reasons. You wouldn't go on YouTube to find a restaurant near you, or you wouldn't go on Pinterest for the same thing, really, but you go on Pinterest if you want a recipe, or you want to see how to do something, you go to YouTube, you see a video of it, tutorials, but you may go to Google first for that. So it's just, I don't think that Facebook will ever be, there'll ever be just one. There won't be any Highlander moments of there can only be one with Facebook, right?
I think they want it to be that way, but yeah, I mean, there's
they definitely want it to be that way.
Like, they would have to build their own search engine and then play nicely with everyone else, I think, because, you know, it's like, if they want people to search for stuff on Facebook, then they have to open that up. They have to make it, you know, completely accessible.
Yeah. But they definitely are trying to, obviously it all ties back to the ad revenue, because the more they can keep people on the platform, the more time they can stay on the platform, the more time they can spend reading posts, the more they can brag about that and charge money, because they can always say, this is where your audience is, regardless of who your audience is. This is where they're spending their time. So, you know, that's always been the case, that they're deathly afraid of people leaving the platform. Like, that's their fear, right? Not that it's justified, because I don't think it is, at least not right now. But the fear, if there's any type of fear that drives Facebook thinking, it's that people they'll leave the platform.
Which is actually funny. It kind of reminds me of everybody's always asking, you know, about Apple, like, oh, they have this huge war chest of cash. And they're like, well, hey, they could buy all these companies. And, you know, and if you really look at the history of the company, at one point, you know, I think that they weren't doing too well financially. And then now it's like they're just building this massive amount of cash. And people are like, well, what are they going to do with that? And I'm sure that it probably has something to do with that, you know, that they don't want that to ever happen again. You know, where they had, I think, to take a loan out from Microsoft or something. Oh,
right. Or, I mean, maybe, look, Apple's the main example and famous for the fact that they don't do any social media.
Actually, they do. They did start a Twitter channel this week.
Oh, I missed it. What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was like, and they actually are doing pretty well with it.
Is it customer service?
Yes, it is actually.
I was totally unaware of that. That's how busy. Talk about being busy.
Yes, it was.
So is it just Apple?
Twitter.com/Apple support.
Oh man, and it's official Apple. Wow, learn something new every day.
But yeah, so if you do have Apple questions, by the way, you can now go to twitter.com/Apple support.
Apple support. Oh, and then also, so they have Apple Music has a Twitter account too.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do have a couple of various accounts here and there, but that's probably the main news this week from that. But yeah, so I mean, I agree. I think over time, and will be interesting to see how all this stuff evolves. Last night I was on Media Chat, and I was chatting with Jeff. Actually, was on there, and
Oh, you weren't just on there; you were the
actually guest. Right. Okay, I was the guest, and it was awesome. Actually, I was trying to keep up with everybody.
That chat has a lot of people in it.
I don't remember what the numbers were, but it was fun.
It's a lot, yeah.
So
just real quick, that Aaron, he's here in Phoenix, right? Kilby, that runs that. He started that in 2011. That chat,
nice,
and it's been going basically every week, save for a few weeks here and there. Every week since 2011. That is insane.
I mean, and I was actually thinking about this last night. If you actually do something like that and you're doing it once a week, I mean, it really isn't that bad, because all you have to do is, contact your guest, give them, enough lead time, identify what the topic's going to be, and then hey, it's pretty straightforward. Go on Twitter. We're going to have a Twitter chat. I mean, it's
right. Yeah, it's a little commitment for the most part, but if you're the host like him, like I don't know how far in advance he sets you up to be scheduled on there. I know mine, it was a couple weeks, I think. But he plans ahead generally, so he's on top of it. So anyway, that was a good Twitter chat last night about Facebook. The things loading faster. What was it about? It was about your Twitter chat.
We were talking about Facebook groups. Actually, we were talking about how to build.
Oh, the groups, right?
Groups. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what you were talking about. Yeah.
No, I was confusing it with the stuff. I can't think of the name of it, but where it's loading publisher thing. So
basically, we had a Twitter chat last night on #Media Chat I was talking about how to build an engaging community with Facebook groups. And Jeff was on there. Aaron was on there, obviously. So Nick Dagley, who's on here now, and then a number of other people. Actually, it was a great show, actually. So it was really good.
Yep, good stuff.
So let's see what we got. So let's see. That's topic what? Topic 3. Topic 4. Here's topic 4. Pretty straightforward. This is actually for Blab users, and we only have a couple more topics here. Topic number 4. This is actually for Blab users. Blab has a new feature. I don't think it's actually showing up now. I think they had to turn it off.
Oh, really? On the homepage?
They were actually showing you who was online.
Yeah, but it was on the homepage, right? It was on, because I saw it on there. It would show up on the left-hand side.
It was, but they put up a post saying they had to kind of take it down. So I don't know if it came back up. Basically, what it is, and this is actually very reminiscent of Facebook's feature, like their chat feature, their messenger feature. You can now see who is on Blab when you go over to the Blab homepage. And off to the left, you'll basically see that you're online and then all the people that you're following. So this way you can learn more about learn more about like when your friends are online. And I'd love to see some more collaboration tools with Blab. Like, for example, if we saw that certain people were online. For example, let's say we were in the middle of this episode of Blab, this social chatter episode, and we saw that people were online, but not necessarily in our Blab. I think it'd be pretty neat to like ping them or something like that, and invite them or do some really cool stuff. But from a business
on Blab, it's called On Blab, the actual name of it.
From a business perspective, I mean, the benefit here is you will be able to see, if you're looking to build out your brand and you're on Blab, you're going to have the ability to then see who all's on there, and grow your following and whatnot, and build more meaningful relationships with those people, so that, so when you do hold your Blab and whatnot, like, you can kind of get an idea of when those people are online, and adjust your strategy in a way. So, you're doing your Blabs when you have a fairly big audience. So
I can see it being annoying though. Like I like it, but I can see it. And I already saw it happen where it's like if you're in a Blab and someone sees that you're connected to, that sees that you're online, and they come into the Blab that you're in and they're like, hey, I'm going to be starting my Blab. And
in a way, hijack yours.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I could see that being the case. I could see that happening. So I don't know. I wonder what they probably took it down more because of a technical issue.
Yeah, right.
Guessing. I didn't see why they took it down, but
it was a technical issue.
Yeah.
So overall, with that, I mean, nothing really major, but it is. I think it's an important thing for people to keep an eye on. Like I said, it does remind me a lot of Facebook. So you do know essentially, you're able to see who's online. Who knows what direction that's going to get built out to, but it's just something to keep in mind. So
let me ask you this, Christian, before we get off this. So
yeah,
there was a lot of activity in our group this week, and actually, I'm gonna pop. Whoops.
Yep, totally.
Pop that in here. Here. So we have this. Speaking of Facebook groups, right? You did media chat last night. Blabaholics is this group I started several months ago, and there's a lot of talk in there, a lot of conversation about this post that Mark Schaefer put up. He says he's a fan of Blab and that, but he's just not seeing the progress and the fixes quick enough and all that sort of a thing. And some people, like, it was a lot of back and forth about, well, it's a beta. I mean, that was kind of my thing. Well, it's a beta. Understand that, and that you shouldn't market it as like really a go-to tool maybe yet for a business. Because it's not as reliable as it maybe should be, depending on what you're using it for, really. But there was a lot of conversation about that back and forth, and it was just interesting. How do you feel about the fact that, like, say a feature like that, right? That's a nice little engagement feature that would potentially augment and amplify the engagement. And do you feel like, are you in the camp like, that's awesome, yeah, more of that? Or are you in the other camp of, hey, can you fix this problem with the audio that keeps seeming to happen. Like get that all fixed right first before you do anything else.
I don't really actually. I mean, aside from the couple of problems you and I had, like I didn't have any audio one time, or maybe the syncing was a little bit off.
Yep. I
haven't had any major problems.
Right.
So
yeah, no, I really haven't either.
I don't really get why that person's complaining. I think it actually would probably be more of a technical issue with possibly their own equipment.
When I've heard other people here and there. It's not, and I'm not trying to pick on Mark or anything. Like he's the one that's the most vocal about it lately.
Definitely.
And posts in the group about it, about like these long soliloquies about hey, you should be fixing this and not worried about this. And that's great. That's his viewpoint. I totally respect it. I just don't tend to agree with it. I'm more like, I think like you, on the camp of, keep coming out with the new stuff. I know that they're working on this other stuff. I know that they're diligently trying to get the thing working so it works well for everybody all the time. Is that possible? I don't know. The WebRTC stuff is still relatively new as a whole. So, they're working on that platform too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, here's the thing. I definitely think that in a way we've kind of gotten a little bit spoiled with some of the technology that's out there. Things are getting, they're just moving at such a rapid pace. It's like, it's a new social network. It's a new tool this week. It's all this new stuff. And I think that we're sort of expecting, a lot of these companies, it's this company that has all this, all this exposure. Oh, they should be fixing things and doing all this stuff. And I think that we're forgetting that most of the time, these are really small companies, with a handful of people, and their priorities, they may not realize that that's actually going on, and if they do, I mean, it's, if it's not happening a whole lot to them, that might not be a priority.
Right.
So,
and it falls into the whole, because you touched on it, the newness thing, because now we've fast forwarded to the point it feels like just in the last year, and then every few months it gets faster and faster because these new apps keep coming out that people talk about.
Which they're silly in some cases. Like there's these crazy apps that come out. I have one in a minute, but all this crazy stuff.
Anchor,
do what?
Blab, so it was Meerkat, right? And everybody was pretty amped up that you could live stream from your phone at the click of a button, right? Everybody was really into, as far as marketers, the marketing community, the social media community, almost everybody was into it. They were like, oh, this is really cool. But then Periscope came out, and then they're like, oh, well, Twitter, it's a much bigger platform. It's going to be a much bigger deal. And then trying to think, what was the next one that came out after that? But there was like three more. There was like Beam, Mevi, and then Blab. So all these specifically live streaming platforms kept coming, and with each one it felt like the interest was like, well, it's just a new shiny thing and I'm not going to jump on that, and for justified, I get it. Oh wait, Meerkat is ditching the live stream and chasing a video social network. Well, that makes sense. That's fine. I was just talking about that with someone about Meerkat's future. I don't know how devoted they really are at this point to the live streaming with the app, but just the fact these new things, and then Peach, right? Peach was the one everybody was like, oh my God, another social network. And while people liked it, there was another whole contingent of, we don't need anything new. We don't need this. And then Anchor's so different from other stuff. And people, same thing. They're like, what? Like there's more negative than positive. And it's within like 2 days. There's the evangelists of it within 2 days.
Right.
There's the naysayers of it within 2 days. And the truth lies somewhere in the middle. You can't evaluate something like that.
No.
You just can't. You can proactively, go after its positives and say, I like using it for this and this, and I could see a company or a brand marketing wise maybe using it in this way. Would you recommend that to a client? No,
right. Not
right now. It's 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old, whatever it is. So it's just that whole mentality is out there right now. I feel like in the last year, but that may just be me having only noticed it in the last year or so.
I agree with you. I think that everything is just, the pace that things are coming out is ridiculous. I mean, it's at the point too, I think that, and this is probably, I think it's probably one of the most difficult things, is that on one hand, like, I feel like I'm on the cutting edge of a lot of this, and you have so many people that are not anywhere near that. And so you have to like keep that in mind with everything you're talking about and doing, and like, you have to be a responsible social media. And in this case, you have to be responsible. If your like role is to teach and to educate people, you can't just, like say, okay, hey, let's like, today we're going to go use Peach or something like that. Right.
Right.
You really have to take the time to evaluate it and see how useful it could be. And actually, maybe you hold off on putting your information out, like, oh, this is so great. Like, spend some time doing an evaluation on something, and because otherwise I think you're just going to make people more, in a way, paranoid. They're paranoid now because like, oh, I can't, they don't know what half the stuff is on Facebook, for example. And then all of a sudden, oh, there's, Anchor and Peach and all these other networks coming out that for most of them, they're like, doesn't,
Well, they don't even know. They have zero idea that they exist. Right. It's funny you said it like that, because I think, and not, we'll get onto I think the tools are next, but there was a big brouhaha over this article that the undercover marketer guy wrote for Forbes, video in the article about Snapchat. Why Snapchat is a loser for brands, and I have the data to prove it, that sort of thing. And he really didn't. Number one, he didn't provide any data. That was the first thing, and that was said in the title, was that he's got the data to prove it. There was really no data. But he was kind of railing against Snapchat, like, and it wasn't people. Yeah, people are bullish on Snapchat. I love Snapchat. Do I think it's for every company to use or brand? No way. Are there some that should use it and maybe aren't? Well, yeah, but it's because they just haven't looked into it yet. So they don't understand it yet. So for him to come out and just make these 5 or 6 points that you could tell he wasn't like a super practitioner on the platform. He tried it out, it looked like, and maybe a little while and didn't quite find exactly what he was looking for. Right. And so he assumed that these things didn't exist. So you have to also have that responsibility even on the negative side. Like if you're gonna bag on something, make sure you have all your information right on what you're bagging on and saying the right things there, because you're writing for Forbes, a major website that people go to or read for information, and that may be the only thing that they see about Snapchat for months or something, or weeks. They're not social media people, so they're not into it. So they see that and they're like, as a business person, you're like, oh, well, none of that. I don't like any of that. I'm not going to ever use that. And maybe it would have, maybe for that business owner that saw that, it would have been the perfect thing. Yeah. So there's a line you have to walk.
And I got one more thing to say, and then we'll move into like the next thing. But I think a lot of businesses they're struggling. They're struggling because they're trying to, in a way, they know they need to adapt, but they're not necessarily able to do it fast enough. They like a lot of times, if it's somebody that says, hey, I'm going to start a small business, for example, small businesses, they don't have the time to be able to go and, they don't have the time to be able to go and, and learn some of these things and then adjust their strategy. Right. In most cases, because they don't even have a strategy to begin with. And then if I'm a very large corporation, it's a little bit different, but we can't just adjust everything that we're doing on a whim, because that creates waves, big waves. And I was thinking, give me a Google wave reference there, but
or Anchor.
But yeah, so waves on Anchor. It's one of those things that I think there still is, there's still a big gap, I think, between things. So I think over time, it's going to have to, businesses are either going to have to develop a more solid strategy and have some sort of contingency plan in place to be able to make adjustments, or they're going to have to be very, very, very focused on what it is they're going to be using. For example, if they're just going to use one social network, put all their effort into one, and maybe on the side you have one that you're testing or something like that. Right. or testing a couple actually, because you don't have to put a lot of time into those things. I mean, but you put your main amount of your effort into, you probably heard the saying. It's like you spend, what was it? Shoot, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's about spending, 80% of your time. It's like you get 80% of your results from like 20% of your work.
20%, yeah.
Same thing. It's the same with social networks. Put your time into the thing that is very, that's most important for you as a business owner. And then put a little bit of time, a fraction of it, into the things that you want to test, so that you can learn and adjust and keep moving. So by the way, so that app, so I did mention, hey, there's a lot of crazy apps being mentioned. I'll give this app just a very quick mention. It's a free app, and you can basically go send somebody a random image, GIF, etc. So basically, what it does is you go.
Which one is it? Rando? That's the name of it?
Rando, yes. It's actually made by a company that makes a very good tool. It's called Launch Center Pro, which I use on my phone for launching a lot of different applications and performing actions from mobile. But basically, it's really kind of weird. You send a photo, a GIF, or a quote. Basically, you don't get to pick anything. It basically just picks it and sends it.
Oh,
so it's kind of
rando, yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's a free app. Feel free to download and play with it, but nothing.
I am.
So it actually came out this week. So it literally just came out, I think, yesterday. Randy, it was but it is made by a company that does make really good apps. Maybe they're just testing some ideas or something here, but
thoughtless messages.
Yeah, it's a little weird. The weirdest part, I think, is that if it's pulling from your camera roll, you don't know what it's going to send.
You hope it's not that. That
exactly right.
Wouldn't be good. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think people would want to do that.
So it's going to be interesting to see how long that one's around. But yeah, so by the way, and before we get into the tools, I did have one other thing I did want to mention. Well, actually, we'll throw this under tools, sort of, I guess. So tools for the week. And, like I said, we try to share 3 tools. So I'm going to start off. This is actually a new Snapchat filter. And the Snapchat filter is actually called, let me see if I can get the name right, because it's actually a play off of another app. You actually had this today, by the way. The Snapchat filter is Swap Face. But it's actually so Snapchat has a new filter. It's called, Swap Face. And it's actually a play off of the iOS app, Face Swap Live. And again, I mean, this really doesn't have a business purpose. But basically, it's literally a play off of this app. I mean, if anybody's ever tried this, basically it lets you, for instance, Vincent and I could swap faces using in this case, our iPhone. But it's the same thing for Snapchat. Basically, they just have called it a little different name. So
I wonder. I don't think it'll pick up my face.
Oh, if you can do that.
Oh, it will. It will on there. Yeah. So because how I did it with like some magazine. Covers. Yeah. So it does that. So I wonder if
Hey, that's pretty cool. So were you using the Snapchat filter, or what were you using?
Wait, are we on Snapchat connected? Are you on, I don't think so.
Actually.
What's your Snapchat username? Unless you don't want to say it over here.
We'll do it later. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to let Vincent continue to play here, but we're going to talk about tool number 1. And we don't talk about Pinterest a lot, but this is actually a tool called Board Booster. And
yeah, I was curious about that. When I saw this, I'm curious if you think, is this like a lot different than, or totally different than Tailwind?
They're very similar.
Okay.
I would say, again, you want to test some of these things. I mean, one thing I thought is really neat about this this tool is not only does it let you schedule, so it's Pinterest based, let you schedule pins. You can streamline your board contributions, so you can see what group boards and whatnot you're a part of. You can clean up your boards and also remove unwanted pins, which is pretty cool. You can also split a board, which is kind of neat. So if you have stuff that needs to kind of be moved, it's very handy for that. You can also optimize your strategy, so you can see what the best performing boards are, the best times, and that sort of stuff. And one feature I thought that was actually pretty neat is you can test your pins for broken links and duplicates. Because again, if you're on Pinterest and your goal is, if you're looking to build a solid presence there, you want to make sure that the content you're sharing actually works. Because the first time somebody hits a broken link, they're going to probably immediately, they're going to stop following you. They're just going to stop checking your channel in most cases. Yeah. So, so it's a pretty good tool for that. But, as Vincent mentioned, Tailwind is also another really good tool for Pinterest. So I would recommend, actually would recommend both of those if you want to. Tailwind is also really good because they also do Instagram marketing as well. So both very good tools. So that's tool number one. Tool number two, and tool number two is actually more of an upgrade. And so tool number two is actually a tool called GIF Brewery 3. And I've been using GIF Brewery for a long time. This is actually an app that lets you create animated GIFs. So there are some free tools out there. Animated GIFs, if you've got Photoshop, that sort of stuff, they work great for that as well. But this is a tool. It's normally a paid tool. It got announced this week. They rolled it out, and they're actually making it free, which is kind of neat. So it's free for like a few days. I think normally it's going to go up to, I think it's $8, which, it's actually not a lot when you think of what all it does. It's a really good quality tool though. So I'd recommend you check it out. And what's also kind of neat about GIF Brewery 3 is that you can also do screen recording for, in this case, your iOS device. So again, it's a free tool. That's actually part of the reason why I wanted to mention it. And two, do any sort of thing for your blog, your website, and you're constantly trying to put together, just a quick little recording of something. This is a perfect tool for that. You just you open it, you set your screen and whatnot, and you record and you're done. So very, very, very good tool. I recommend picking it up. It's free. So tool number three, and I haven't used Board Booster, but I do use GIF Brewery 3.
Cool. There's so many GIF apps and all this stuff coming out right now.
And I have to say, so one thing about GIF apps is that, and I've played with a ton of these. I mean, I use Photoshop, but if you're the average user, Photoshop's just too much, for doing some of these things. And then the other problem you also run into a lot of times with most of these apps is some of them, I've checked out so many of them, some of them work really well. Some of them, they don't work at all. And it's more hassle. So I went and I bought GIF Brewery, a while back. And that's the tool I've been using when I need to create something pretty quickly. So I would recommend, like I said, downloading the free one. This is a tool that I recommend because it's, like I said, I've tested pretty much all the other ones that are out there. And, and I always like to, give you guys, tools and whatnot that I think are going to be useful for you as a business owner. So, like I said, it's free. No skin off your back. Download it, give it a try. And, if you don't like it, you can switch to something else. Or if you need other recommendations, come ask us. So with that, tool number three, and I thought the owner was actually going to join. This is actually a lead gen or lead capture tool for your blog or your website. It's called Waftio. And, and this kind of plays off the same thing we were talking about, but, there are a ton of ways that you can capture leads. You can use, if you've got an email marketing service, you can use that. You can use a number of the, lead capture tools, that are available. But this is a pretty neat one actually, because it's a little different. So they add if you go to their website, they add a little pop-up box on the right-hand side, which is kind of neat. So if I'm scrolling or whatnot to a certain point in the page, this pop-up box can come up. It's kind of nice because it's not as obtrusive as the one, the exit intent ones where you go to leave the page and end up with, this pop-up asking you to stay or to opt into a list. So what's also cool though about this tool is that they offer other types of forms. So for example, you can have the one that pops up. You can also do one for a survey. So instead of, for instance, going to SurveyMonkey and creating a survey there, you can use this as well. You can create that in Waftio. You can also set up a quick form, obviously, for gathering data. You can also use it for sweepstakes and contests as well if you're going to run something like that as well. So I would recommend giving it a try. It's a couple. I think it's.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing, I'm trying to look at their pricing, by the way, and it looks like it's not really
Yeah, I had a problem earlier. It was like I think it was $19 or something like that.
a month.
I think so. It was. I thought it was fairly inexpensive. I mean,
Okay.
you know.
And then there's that coupon too for a third off or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, it's it's a new. Again, it's another tool that's on the market. But you may want to if you're looking for lead gen capture on your site, here's the thing. I think the key thing for this is that you can go and install a number of plugins and other tools. But typically, if you're trying to do lead capture, you're not going to get, for instance, that little pop-up on the bottom right. You're going to have to either custom code something yourself, or you're going to have to install multiple pop-ups, which is kind of annoying. You're going to have you might use one tool for one thing and one for another and one for another. This actually kind of streamlines things. So I would recommend possibly, again, these are really easy to install. I recommend, setting one of these up and, see how it performs. And, if it doesn't perform after, say, a month on your site, switch to something else. So with that, do you have anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, this is, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I actually really am. So, gonna get some rest actually. So I have one more one thing I did want to mention actually, and you and I talked about this a couple of days ago. Let me see if I can grab my information for it. Let's see. So what I wanted to mention was also that I think as I mentioned, it's going to be a really busy. It's been a busy week. I got some good news this week. I'm going to actually be heading out to San Diego in April. I think, are you going too, Vincent? I think you are, right?
I will be there.
Awesome. So I'm going to be heading to San Diego, and I will actually be speaking at Social Media Marketing World on Facebook Notes and Facebook Instant Articles. So this will be I think it's April 17th through the 19th.
Is it that late? I thought it was earlier.
Yeah, I think that's sure. April 17th to the 19th.
Oh, wow. So they're moving it around a little bit, huh? Like it used to be the end of March, right?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
I guess for the conventions, because now this year it's in the convention center. Before it was in the hotels, so it's a little different schematic and logistics. But congrats, man!
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I spoke on groups actually back in the fall, and this is actually going to be good. We're going to, like I said, we're going to talk about Facebook Notes. We're going to talk about Facebook Instant Articles and how marketers can actually use those tools together. I know Instant Articles are going to be a hot topic because I think Facebook has F8 coming up, and then and I think that's going to be part of the rollout, and then obviously Notes. Hopefully Notes will have gained some more traction. I think by then. So that's what's going on. If you guys want to check out Social Media Marketing World, there's a link there in the chat window for you.
Yeah, and congrats again, man. That's a big deal. Hey, Eileen, we're just congratulating Christian. He's going to be speaking at Social Media Marketing World in April.
Yeah, no,
is that so?
Wow.
So yeah, it'll be here soon enough. Are you? It's you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No panel.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Which would be fine.
Yeah.
Be totally cool too. And did you run a panel before, weren't you?
I haven't been on a panel there yet. No, I did.
But did you host one?
No, I did the one back in the fall actually.
Okay.
For their online conference they were doing.
Gotcha. I was thinking for some reason that you had been on a panel before.
I've been on other ones, but not for them.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Well, but hey, this is big time. It's big time. It's the only step up is the keynote.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, we're not there yet, but it should be a good time. It should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Who was it? I think was it Jeff here? I think he said he was going to.
A lot of people. Jeff, are you going to go? Is that your thing? Have you been to that before? Christian, how many years have you been? All the years, or
this is 3, 4, something?
I mean, this is year 4.
Yeah.
This one's year 4. Have you been to all 3?
Let's see. No, I've actually done. This will be the 3rd one.
Okay, because I think I met you at the first one you were at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then last year we hung out, and But now it's the first 3 years was in the Marriott Marquis and the hotel. I think it was in there, in their actual rooms there, the ballroom. But they moved in the convention center, and Gary Vee is going to be there.
Yep, absolutely. And I know you're
the Gary Vee show.
That's a cool shirt. So no, yeah, I think it's going to be really awesome, and I think there'll be a lot of great speakers as well.
That's a huge pull, though. That's the one, like, all 3 years that easy there. Hey, sorry, I'm a fan of his. Until Christian comes out with a let's get into the show #social chefs t-shirt, then I'll wear that one. But that's a big pull. Like, that's the guy that I think every year that I've gone, I've been like, I wonder if there's a chance they would get Vaynerchuk this year. You know, he's really the one, because I mean everybody else, like the Jay Bears of the world, and Guy is there, Mari Smith, Joel, like, yeah. I mean, is there anyone left? Maybe like a Brian Solis hasn't been there yet. Jeff Bullis. I'm trying to think of like some of those names. You know, those names that are like kind of people look to them as leaders within the industry.
Yeah. There are a few, yeah. So like some of the people you mentioned, yeah. Like, I mean, like Jeff, for example, I don't ever see him really pop up for things. So I don't know.
No.
You know, if he's content.
No, but Gary is the one. I mean, he's got the book coming out too. I'm sure that plays a big part of it. The book will have been out for like a month and a half by then. So, well, cool, man.
Yep. So
congrats.
Yeah. So with that, oh, and actually, sorry, we had one other link. You know what? I'm going to get the link to next week's show for everybody. And with that, I don't actually have anything else I want to cover today. But if you want to join next week's show.
Other than Meerkat, it seems like Meerkat's dead. I'm looking at tweets and posts, and everyone's giving their condolences to Meerkat and remembering a year ago, everybody jumping on, but everyone seems really sad right now. They're like, oh, I remember when I started on Meerkat and people I met there, and with this news about Meerkat moving into more of a video social network or something, like, it seems like it's pretty much dead at this point. So rip Meerkat.
And and that's one of the biggest things about just all of these tools that are coming out. Like, in a way, they're fragmenting our attention span. It's like we go spend a little bit of time learning how to use something, seeing how it applies to our business, and then and then they're doing they're completely changing up their model and whatnot. And I think that it's unfortunate. I think part of that plays into the fact that there's just all these little micro startups, I guess, creating these tools that they think people want to use. Or they're taking something that's like a really good idea, and it's just getting just too granular. Like, for instance, that Rando app, like, kind of cool, seems like seems like an interesting idea, but then when you think about it, it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense, right?
But that's the type of thing that I bet that succeeds, just because when I signed up for it, or when I just went on it, it's like, it's easy it's the little onboarding, the quick little onboarding was easy.
Right. And
then you don't have to send it from your camera roll. It picks like random GIFs or whatever. So it's super easy to use, and it's goofy, and it's social. I can text it to someone. Like, I texted one to my buddy because it was a basketball GIF, and I sent it to him, and it auto-populates with like, this came from the Rando app. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that's like the biggest app of this year. I'm not saying it will be. I'm just saying, if that ended up happening, it wouldn't shock me, because it's so mindless. Really, that you just, boom, oh, yeah, I'm going to send this goofy gift to someone.
Yeah, I guess I look at it from a business standpoint, or like a marketer standpoint.
Yeah,
seems like from a standard, like, individual usage standpoint, like, yeah, of course, I'm going to probably like enjoy using something like that. But when I look at, for instance, the number of apps that I have on my phone, you have 5 apps, for instance, for shooting video. And, each one's a little bit different. Like, I have one that I specifically use every single time I want to shoot video. And then I have, a couple other ones here and there for, the random times that I want something a little bit different. It's just, I mean, it's nice to be able to have some of those apps, but there's just, there's so many that, they pull out some little subset, like, for example, if you want to create a time lapse video, for example, there's a specific app that's all it does. And, it's kind of neat that it's there, but then it's like, well, you could just fold that into another app and have a really quality, video app that, hey, you can shoot time lapse or something, because otherwise it's just something else somebody has to kind of fiddle with and whatnot. But, I'm really excited to see kind of where things are going to go. I mean, I definitely think that things have sped up a lot just over the past, I'd say the past couple of months. I think that it's only going to get, more, I think everything's just going to move a lot more fast. And then at the same time, I think that, at some point there's going to have to be some sort of consolidation in the market because, there's too many, there's too many apps for doing almost the same thing. You talked about Meerkat, for example. What was it? What were they going to do? Ditching live stream and chasing a video social network. Well, I mean, isn't that going to be isn't that kind of like Vine or Periscope Vine or Instagram? I mean, because Vine was a super short video. Instagram is a short video as well. You've got Facebook. Why do I need to go to this little micro site? When I can go to, Facebook or all these other apps, that are available and do something. So with that, yeah. And to answer Eileen's question, anyone using Peach, not using it.
Although I'll say this, that Peach, I got on it. I kind of checked it for a couple of weeks here and there. Mm-hmm. But to be honest, the Twitter, the gifting on Twitter happened right after Peach came out. Mm-hmm. And I find it more than coincidental. So if that's Peach's lasting impact, is that we finally got a GIF button.
Yeah.
Or maybe some of the other functionality from Peach even into Twitter somehow or into other platforms. Mm-hmm. And it's positive. Great.
And that, by the way, is one of the things that, that's actually a really good point you make there. And I'll kind of end on this, I guess, is that if, instead of having all of these, new networks and new little small micro features come out and have everybody kind of jump towards these, it would be interesting to see some of these companies come out with these little small features and have them gobbled up and folded into into Twitter or folded into Facebook or something like that, and kind of consolidate the market. I mean, because that still allows those networks to kind of play a dominant part, and and it lets the other ones kind of in a way validate their product, knowing, hey, it was actually probably pretty decent if Twitter wants to add it or something. So,
yep.
With that, if anybody has any questions on anything, feel free to reach out to myself or Vincent. I'm at CKROKS or at Social Chefs. Vincent, they can find you at Vincent Orlek. And there will also be a blog post going out later on in the evening. So I will talk to you all later. I hope you all have an absolutely great weekend.
Yes. Take care, everybody.
Awesome. And it's so great to have everyone on here. Jeff, thanks a lot for joining. Eileen, Rick.
See you guys in the Blabaholics group.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks, guys. Bye.